Hi everyone, this is Dr. UduakInwang Neuro Academy. Today we'll be talking about the physiology of the cerebellum. The cerebellum translates into little brain. It can be called little brain because it looks like a smaller version of the cerebrum. It usually assists with coordinating and adjusting voluntary movements and plays a major role in posture, balance, maintenance of muscle tone, and coordinating voluntary motor activities. The cerebellum sits in the posterior cranial fossa. It is covered by what is called the tentorium cerebelli, which separates the cerebellum from the occipital and temporal lobes of the brain. Anterior to the cerebellum lies the fourth ventricle, the pons, and the medulla oblongata. Like the cerebellum consists of two cerebellar hemispheres that has a narrow ridge at the middle, which is called the vermis. There are grooves on the surface of cerebellum. We call these grooves sulci. Between the sulci lies what is called the folia of the cerebellum. Now, from an inferior view, parallel to the vermis, there are two distinguishable lobules, which are called the cerebellar tonsils. The cerebellum consists of three lobes, which are the anterior lobe, the posterior lobe, and the flocculonodular lobe. The anterior lobe is separated from the posterior lobe by the primary fissure, while the posterior lobe is separated from the flocculonodular lobe by the posterolateral fissure. Now, the anterior lobe is also called the spinocerebellum. The spinocerebellum usually regulates muscle tone and bring about adjustments of movements. Now, the posterior lobe is also called the cerebrocerebellum, or we can call it the corticocerebellum or the pontocerebellum. It is responsible for assisting and planning of fine motor movements. Now, the flocculonodular lobe is also called the vestibulocerebellum. It is responsible for the maintenance of posture and balance. It contains the central part of the vermis, which is called the nodule, as well as two flocculi, and that is where it actually got its name from. Now, phylogenetically, the cerebellum is divided into two divisions, which are the paleocerebellum and the neocerebellum. The paleocerebellum is the phylogenetically oldest part of the cerebellum, which include the active cerebellum and the paleocerebellum proper. The neocerebellum is the phylogenetically newer portion of the cerebellum, which include portions of the cerebellar hemisphere. Anteriorly, the cerebellum is attached to the brainstem by the cerebellar peduncles, which contain fibers that run between the cerebellum and the brainstem. We usually have three cerebellar peduncles, which are the superior cerebellar peduncle. The superior cerebellar peduncle is also known as the brachia conjunctiva and attaches the cerebellum to the midbrain. The second one is the middle cerebellar peduncle. The middle cerebellar peduncle is also known as the brachia pontis, which attaches the cerebellum to the pons. The third one is the inferior cerebellar peduncle, which is also known as the restiform bodies and attaches the cerebellum to the medulla. All the peduncles contains afferent fibers, but majority of the afferent fibers passes via the middle and the inferior cerebellar peduncle. Now, majority of the afferent fibers lies in the superior cerebellar peduncle. On a sagittal section, the cerebellum looks like the cerebrum, in that the cortex is folded, creating ridges with small sulci in between. The difference between the cerebellum and cerebral cortex is that the ridges are thinner and smaller and organized into more parallel layers, which are called folia. The folia contains an external layer of gray matter called the cerebellar cortex and a subcortical white matter region. The shape of the white matter creates a tree-like arrangement referred to as arbovita or tree of life. On a transverse section of the cerebellum, you will see 4 clusters of deep gray matter nuclei that are buried within the subcortical white matter. These deep nuclei contains multipolar neurons that receive signals from the cerebellar cortex and other parts of the nervous system. The zones of the deep cerebellar nuclei usually contribute to the formation of the 3 cerebellar peduncles. From lateral to medial, the nuclei consists of the dentate nucleus, the emboliform nucleus, the globus nucleus, and the fastigial nucleus.